Hey there, this is Darren, day 36. Okay, this is a big one, and this is a good one, and very relevant to today. So back in the day in 2006, I had decided I was gonna do real estate. I was gonna flip houses. So I went out and I bought everybody, well, the people who are the best in the industry, I bought their how to flip a house programs. So in studying what other people were doing, I said flipping houses, actually flipped only one, but I learned one valuable lesson in two different ways. So number one, I realized I was able to follow the system and flip a house. And number two, I realized just like Subway, I did not like the business at all. But what I took from that, I use in my speaking. So when I started creating educational tools, I took all the ones that I had bought and I laid them out on the living room floor. And I realized I liked this book, I didn't like this. I like this in this book. This one had great illustrations. This one was very clean and clear. So I took all the different programs that I invested in and I took the best of what I learned. Now I modeled them, I wasn't copying them. I looked at their table of contents. I looked how big the words were. I studied everything. I ended up creating Get Paid to Speak by Next Week, literally sitting there and creating a workbook, modeling what the bigwigs did. So that was number two. Number two, modeling. I went to this guy, Ron LeGrand, real estate investor, teacher, mentor. And I took all of his classes and went to one, it was information marketing. And then he had another one on flipping ugly houses. And then he had another one on paper, selling paper, mortgages and things like that. And then he had another one on pretty houses. So there was one on ugly houses and one pretty houses. So I realized he had all these different events. And I said, And I applied that to what I was doing. So we modeled his business. We have a storytelling boot camp. We have a humor boot camp. We have a create your keynote boot camp. So we have all these different boot camps, and I was modeling what he did. He separated the skill sets out and had 2-day events and 3-day events. And I ended up going to several of them because they were super helpful. So when I built Stage Time University and our Stage Time workshops, I modeled the same idea. So now, flipping over to what I'm doing now with my dream, this was, I think I thought of the same thing. How do I use that for what I'm trying to do? So if you're following along on my journey, I sat down with Michael Haig, and Michael Haig had read over 1,000 scripts, almost 2,000 scripts. So whatever he said, I was a sponge. And I sat down with somebody else who was super helpful. In fact, gave me some ideas I didn't get from Michael, and he had read 100 scripts. And I remember him saying, I read 100 scripts, and that was cool. And then I thought of Michael Haig, 10,000 scripts. So who are you listening to? Who are you giving the most mojo in? But I will say, I learned just as much from both of them. But when it comes down to it, Michael has read 1,000 scripts. So here's what I got from Michael. He said, look, you need to write the book first. If you want to create a movie, you want the intellectual property. So I followed suit in what I did before, and I want to model people who are the best. So I just bought The Pursuit of Happiness. See what else we got here. Soul Surfer. I bought that book. What else do I got? Michael Orr, if you remember the movie Blindside. I already had the Rudy book, surprise, surprise. And then one of the ones I got from my second coach, he said to get the Screenwriter's Bible because I had some structure mistakes. And I'm going to do another lesson on that. Was a big aha for me. But I want to model, if I'm going to write the book about the screenplay, why not look at what other people are doing who had real life books that were turned into movies? So who can you model for what you're trying to accomplish? Who has been there and done that? What are they doing? Again, really do not plagiarize, do not steal. We're modeling. I'm not going to take any of their copy, but I'm looking at their table of contents and see how they organized it. But just like the real estate manuals that I invested in, I looked at, I like this from this book and this from this book. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. How about you? If you're following along this 77-day challenge, please, please, please consider doing it yourself. One lesson from your life. You've got the lessons. If you're alive, you've got the lessons. One a day, and it's going to stretch you. Some days I've got a list of, 2 or 3 different topics, so 2 or 3 days covered. But yesterday I was out. I had nothing. But I started thinking about it. So it's helping me create better content, stretching me, coming up with new ideas and reinventing old ideas. If you decide you don't want to do the challenge, it's not for you, cool, no problem. But I request a favor. Go to someone else, doesn't have to be me, go to someone else and encourage them. Just do the hashtag video 77-day video challenge, hashtag 77, and see what they're doing and encourage them. Encourage someone else is doing. And if one of mine was good or someone else's was good, please share it with somebody or some group you're a part of. So thanks for being here today. Sherry, Dwayne, hey, keep it up, Dwayne. Keep it up, Sherry. I'm so proud of you. We'll see you tomorrow.